All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about the future of the internet, and specifically about building your own private social powerhouse. I mean, a real online community that you and only you actually own and control.
So let me just ask you this, straight up. That group you run on a big social platform, is it really yours? Or when you think about it, are you just renting space? You're kind of like a tenant, and the landlord can change the rules, hike up the rent, or, even kick you out with no warning at all.
And this slide, this really breaks down the difference, right? On the left, that's the old way. That's the world we live in now, where our data is the product, and we're stuck in this centralized system. But on the right, that's the new model that's coming. It's one where you actually hold the keys, where platform fees just aren't a thing, and where you have what's called digital sovereignty. So what even is digital sovereignty? Well, it's the huge idea at the very heart of all this. It's not just about, privacy. It's about ownership. It's the power to be in the driver's seat of your own digital life. Your data, your identity, the platforms you use, all without having to ask anyone for permission.
Okay, so let's be crystal clear about the problem we're actually trying to solve here. The traditional platforms, they're basically gatekeepers. They put themselves right between you and your community, and that just limits what you can do. The solution? Well, it starts by completely rethinking the most fundamental thing we have online, our identity.
And yeah, it all starts with your identity. This is the foundation for taking back control. And the tool for that is something called UIID, which is built on this really powerful principle of self-sovereign identity.
I really love this analogy. Self-sovereign identity is basically like having a digital passport that you physically hold in your hand. It's not sitting in some company's giant database somewhere. You and only you get to decide who you show it to and exactly what information they're allowed to see. So the key here is that UIID treats your identity like a utility that you control, and it has these three incredible features. First, verified anonymity. Second, a completely passwordless ecosystem. Yes, you heard that right. And third, total data portability. Let's zoom in on that first one for a second.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. Verified anonymity means you can prove things about yourself, like say that you're over 18 or that you have a certain degree, without ever showing your actual birth date or your full name. It's a massive leap forward for both privacy and security.
So, you've locked down your identity. Awesome. Now what? What about the actual platform? Well, this next part is all about the toolkit that lets you build your own digital space from the ground up. A space where your community's data belongs to you and you alone.
And this quote just nails it. You can't have digital sovereignty if some third party is holding onto your data. It's impossible. The only way to guarantee you have real control is with a decentralized infrastructure, one where you get to make all the rules. And this is a huge deal for three main reasons. First, your data stays local, on super high security nodes that you control. Second, it's way more efficient, which means you can ditch those huge central cloud hosting bills. And third, it creates a golden record of your data that's basically tamper-proof. That's absolutely critical for data integrity. Okay, so how do you actually build this thing? I know it might sound complicated, but it really boils down to three pretty straightforward steps. First, you secure your foundation with that private storage we talked about. Then, you pick a look and feel that's familiar to your users. And finally, you customize it to make it 100% yours. And here's the best part. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can literally launch a platform that has the familiar feel of an Instagram or an X, which makes it super easy for your community to jump right in. But, and this is the kicker, with tools like Glacier Vibe Coding, you still get to customize up to 80% of the interface in real time. You get full control, but with zero friction for your users. Now let's talk about what might be the most revolutionary part of this whole model, the money. We're talking about a 0% take rate. That means all the value your community creates, it flows directly back to the community.
So what's the platform fee? What's the cut that the house takes from subscriptions or sales or tips? It's right there on the screen. Zero. A big, fat 0%. Just let that sink in for a moment. All of the revenue is yours. Think about it. Every other major platform out there is a gatekeeper. They take a pretty big slice of any money you generate. Subscriptions, tips, you name it, they're taking a cut. With the Linkspreed model, you keep 100% of what you earn. It completely flips the entire economic model of running an online community on its head. So we've covered the identity, the data, the platform tools, and the economics. All the pieces are there. This is about moving beyond just being a content creator.
This is about becoming the architect of your own dynamic, self-sustaining ecosystem.
So let's just tie all this together really quickly. It's pretty simple. UID gives you self-sovereign identity, which means you own your identity. Private storage gives you decentralized nodes, which means you own your community's data. And Web4 Studio gives you customizable themes, so you own the entire platform experience. You see the pattern here, right? You own everything, end to end. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. The technology, the framework, it all exists now. So the question is no longer if this is possible. The question is for you. If you had the tools to build a social network with absolutely zero gatekeepers, what would it look like? What would you create?